apologizing to my future wife and hoping for a second chance. You don't know how many nights I've stayed awake thinking about the pain I've caused you. I don't know where you are right now, or if you still think of me, but I needed to say this. You deserve a man who never makes you cry, yet here I am, standing in the shadows of my own mistakes, begging for a second chance. I failed you even before I had you. I thought I was strong, but the truth is, without you, I'm nothing but a broken version of myself. I never wanted to be the reason you feel unsafe. I never wanted to be the reason you doubt love. If I could rewrite the past, I would tear out every page that held even a moment of your hurt. I would burn every memory that made your heart heavy. But I can't change what I've done. I can only change what I will do if you come back. I will fight for you. I will kneel for you. I will unlearn my own darkness if it means I get to hold you without you flinching. You don't know how many times I've practiced my apology, how many words I've swallowed because they sounded too small for what I've done. You were soft and I was sharp. You were warmth and I was cold stone. I never deserved your light, but you still tried to show me the sun. And instead of holding you closer, I pushed you away. I was cruel, I was selfish, and now all I can do is stand in the ruins of what could have been and beg silently for one chance to prove that I'm not the man I was yesterday. I don't care if you don't trust me right now. I don't care if you think I'm only saying what you want to hear. Just remember this: I am willing to be patient. I am willing to earn you, not with roses, not with poetry, but with consistency and scars and the slow healing of your bruised heart. You are not a prize, you are not a test. You are a queen whose forgiveness I will work for one day at a time, even if you never see me do it. I'm not asking you to forget. I'm not even asking you to forgive me right now. I just want you to know that somewhere out there, right now, there is a man waking up every day and trying to be worthy of a woman he hasn't met yet, because he knows she deserves a better version of him. I hope that one day, when I finally stand before you, I'm not a reminder of pain, but a reason to believe that even broken men can rebuild themselves into protectors. If this message ever reaches you, I just want you to know your silence is not my enemy, it's my punishment, and I accept it, because loving you means being patient. Loving you means being ready, even if you never return. But if by the grace of destiny, you give me a second chance, I promise you this: I will love you louder than my pride. I will hold you safer than my darkness. And I will never let you wonder where you stand in my life ever again. You don't know how many times I've replayed every moment when I should have stopped and made things right. You never even raised your voice at me, yet I punished you with silence, with distance, with ego. I could have chosen tenderness, but I chose pride. Every moment I hurt you is now engraved in my memory like a wound that never closes. If I could reach out and pull that pain out of your chest and carry it myself, I would, without hesitation, because you didn't deserve the version of me that was still wrestling with his own demons. Sometimes I wonder if you ever cried because of me. If you did, I wonder if the world still felt safe for you afterward. I know now that love isn't about how loud you can roar, but how softly you can hold what's fragile. I failed that lesson. You were a quiet storm and I mistook your silence for weakness. Now I understand. You were stronger than me because you knew how to love without turning sharp. My words cut, my actions bruised, even without violence. And that's the worst part. You trusted me with your heart and I dropped it. I know now why you walked away. You weren't trying to hurt me, you were just saving yourself. And I respect that. In fact, that's what makes me want you even more. because a woman who knows when to leave is a woman who knows her worth. You weren't asking for too much. I was offering too little. That realization has shattered me more than any goodbye ever could. My punishment now is to wait, to hope, to grow. And even if I never get you back, at least I'll become a better man because of you. I've changed, but not in the way people say it casually. I've changed in the way a storm reshapes the land. I've been humbled, rebuilt. I've learned that saying, "I'm sorry," isn't enough unless the hands that say it are already working to repair the damage. I've learned that love is not possession, it's protection. I used to think loving you meant keeping you close. Now I know it means helping you feel safe, even if it means letting you distance yourself from me. And I think about the future, our future, if destiny allows it. I imagine seeing you again, not as a man begging, but as a man proving. If I am ever granted the honor of being called your husband, I swear I will love you with a calm that never threatens your peace, with a strength that never asks you to shrink, with a loyalty you can feel even when I'm silent. You will never have to guess my intentions. You will never have to hide your fears. You will never feel alone, even when I'm not by your side. But for now, I speak into the void. I write these words for the universe to carry to whoever holds your heart. And if it is not me, then I only pray he loves you more fiercely than I ever could. Because you deserve a love that does not apologize. It just shows up every day and stays. But if God gives us another chance, I promise you this, I will never again be the storm that makes you feel unsafe. I will be the shelter you walk into when the world grows cold. You don't know how many times I've stood in front of my own reflection and asked myself, what kind of man throws away a gift like you? I was so occupied fighting battles inside my own mind that I forgot you were fighting too, and you were doing it alone. I was supposed to be your shield, but I became your burden. The weight of that truth crushes me more than any punishment ever could. I wish I could go back and stop myself from becoming the reason your smile dimmed. There were days when everything was calm, and I still found a way to create storms. It was almost like I didn't trust happiness when it came to me. I ruined the peace you offered because I didn't know how to exist in a world where someone could love me without conditions. You gave me warmth and I walked around wearing armor. Now, I finally understand that you weren't trying to break through my walls. You were just waiting for me to take them down. But I didn't, not when it mattered. I know now that it wasn't your absence that hurt the most. It was the echo of your silence. I used to take your presence for granted, thinking you would always stay. But every unanswered message, every cold night without your voice has taught me what real loss feels like. You didn't just leave my life, you left a void in my world that no one else can fill. And that emptiness forces me to confront the ways I failed you. I wish I could tell you in person what I've learned. I wish I could look you in the eyes and let you see that I'm not the man who let you down anymore. But maybe these words are all I'm ever going to be allowed. A whisper carried to you by fate, or maybe by time. Still, I write them with the hope that one day something inside you softens, not for me to return, but for you to know I finally understand the weight of what I lost. I used to think I needed you because I was lonely, but that's not true. I need you because you were the only one who made me feel like my darkness wasn't permanent. You saw something in me I couldn't see in myself, and I threw that gift away. Now, every day feels like walking through a world full of people who can't see through me the way you did. You didn't just love me, you understood me, and I made the mistake of thinking that was something I'd find again easily. Now, I stand here not as a prince who lost a girl, but as a man who ruined the one story that could have rewritten his life. There's no crown heavy enough to make me feel whole without you. No kingdom wide enough to make me forget how small I feel when I think of the pain I caused. If I ever get the chance to make things right, I will not come with excuses. I will come with changed actions, humble words, and the quiet strength you always deserved. But until then, I will keep writing to you like this, not to manipulate your emotions, not to make you pity me, but because somewhere inside me, the man you believed in still exists. And even if you never return, I will honor that version of myself for your sake. If loving you means a lifetime of waiting, of improving, of hoping, then that's what I'll do. Because the truth is, even in my regret, I still love you, and I always will. You don't know how many times I've replayed the quiet moments where everything felt perfect, where you laughed softly, where you leaned into me without hesitation. I didn't recognize the sacredness of those moments then. I didn't realize that your trust was the most fragile treasure I'd ever hold. Now that it's gone, I finally see what I broke. I keep asking myself, who am I without you? The truth is, I'm just a man staring into a past he can't fix, yet refusing to stop trying. There are nights I wish I could go back, not to change you or the way you loved, but to change myself, to hold your hand tighter when you were silently hurting, to listen when words didn't need to be spoken. I would have chosen loyalty over pride, vulnerability over distance, but I was too busy protecting my ego to protect your heart. How foolish of me to mistake strength for silence when it was your softness that always held us together. Every day since you left has been a lesson, the kind of lesson where pain is the teacher and regret is the homework. I've learned that love isn't just about choosing someone once, it's about choosing them every day, especially on the days when it's harder to stay. You chose me even when I gave you every reason to walk away. But when it was my turn to choose, I hesitated. I let doubt speak louder than devotion. Now I live with that silence like a punishment carved into my soul. I wonder how you're doing now. I wonder if someone else gets to hear your laughter, see your eyes soften when you're shy, or hold your hands when you're nervous. If he does, I hope he understands the blessing he's been given. I hope he never raises his voice toward you, not even in frustration. I hope he handles your dreams like glass and never lets you feel like you're asking too much. Because I know now, you were only asking for what love is supposed to give. And I still think about the kind of man I want to be, not for the world, not for the crown, but for the woman who once believed in me. I want to be the man who wakes up every day with purpose. A man who speaks with intention, who protects without controlling, who loves without conditions. I want to be the kind of man you don't have to fear, the kind of man who stays even when storms rise, because that's what you deserved. And I'm sorry I wasn't him when it mattered. Still, I wait. Not because I'm weak, but because even in my regret, I have hope. Hope that our paths might cross again when I am no longer the villain in your story, but a man who has earned the right to stand beside you with action, not words. But if that day never comes, I will still be grateful. Grateful for the love that changed me. Grateful for the woman who made me face myself. Grateful for the goodbye that became the beginning of my redemption. I won't ask you to remember me. I won't ask you to forgive me. But if one day you look back, I hope you think of me as someone who finally understood what love was because of you. Someone who became better not for applause, but because your absence forced him to grow. And I hope you know this. Even if you never hear my voice again, somewhere in this world, there is a man who will always love you with a quiet, sincere ache, and who will never stop hoping you know how deeply he's sorry. And I still think about the kind of man I want to be, not for the world, not for the crown, but for the woman who once believed in me. I want to be the man who wakes up every day with purpose, a man who speaks with intention, who protects without controlling, who loves without conditions. I want to be the kind of man you don't have to fear, the kind of man who stays even when storms rise, because that's what you deserved, and I'm sorry I wasn't him when it mattered. Still, I wait, not because I'm weak, but because even in my regret I have hope. Hope that our paths might cross again, when I am no longer the villain in your story, but a man who has earned the right to stand beside you with action, not words. But if that day never comes, I will still be grateful, grateful for the love that changed me, grateful for the woman who made me face myself, grateful for the goodbye that became the beginning of my redemption. I won't ask you to remember me, I won't ask you to forgive me, but if one day you look back, I hope you think of me as someone who finally understood what love was because of you. Someone who became better not for applause, but because your absence forced him to grow. And I hope you know this, even if you never hear my voice again, somewhere in this world, there is a man who will always love you with a quiet, sincere ache, and who will never stop hoping you know how deeply he's sorry. You don't know how many times I've sat in silence, trying to imagine the life we could have lived together if I hadn't been blinded by my own flaws. I think about the little things, your fingers brushing against mine, your voice soft in the morning, the way your presence made every room feel like home. I didn't realize then that love isn't loud. It's found in those quiet moments, in your steady breath next to mine, in the comfort of knowing you were there. Now, without you, silence feels like punishment. I used to believe that love was something that would just happen, effortless, beautiful, and eternal. I was wrong. I've learned now that love is work. It's choosing to stay even when you're scared. It's holding on when everything feels uncertain. I failed you not because I didn't love you, but because I didn't love you the way you needed to be loved. I didn't show up consistently. I let my coldness build walls between us. And now all I have left are the echoes of what could have been. Every morning I wake up hoping that somehow, somewhere you've forgiven me, not for my sake, but for yours. Because I know how heavy it is to carry pain that wasn't yours to hold. You didn't deserve the burden of my unhealed parts. You didn't deserve to question your own worth just because I was too broken to love you properly. If time could heal more than wounds, I'd ask it to erase every tear I caused you. But time has only taught me this. Damage done in love is the hardest to repair. Your absence has become a mirror. I can't run from my reflection anymore. I see my mistakes clearly now. I see the nights I chose distance over comfort. I see the days I let anger speak instead of compassion. I see how my silence made you feel small, not because you were, but because I never offered reassurance. And now that mirror doesn't just show a man, it shows a regret I can't escape, a regret I live with every day. You don't know how many times I've caught myself wondering if you ever think of me the way I think of you. If there's ever a moment when something reminds you of the person I was before, the distance, before the hurt, I know I hurt you, and I know that it's too late for me to take those wounds away. But I can't help wishing that in some quiet corner of your heart, there's still a piece of the love we shared. And if that piece exists, if it's even the slightest ember, I'll spend every day for the rest of my life trying to prove I can be the man who deserves it. I don't know when it became clear that I was failing you. Maybe it was when you started to withdraw, when the light in your eyes dimmed, and I was too busy justifying my actions to see the slow unraveling of what we had. But I can see it now. I can see that I built walls around myself, thinking they would protect me from the fear of being vulnerable.